Selecting an insurance provider for your business is a big decision.
We know how important your company is to the community.
Alford & Associates can manage your insurance. It's our job.
Alford & Associates, benefiting your employees and protecting your business.
Good evening and welcome to this week's episode of Louisiana and Beyond.
And in this program, we're going to feature highlights of the recent Coastal Day at the Legislature at the State Capitol in Baton Rouge.
This annual event provides an opportunity for networking amongst coastal leaders and elected officials on topics of mutual interest.
And in the highlights from the event, we'll hear from Governor Jeff Landry, Gordon Dove, Tony Alford, Representative Jerome Zarang, and Michael Hare.
And in this week's guest segment, CEO Mark Pregeant of Grand Isle Shipyard talks about the humble origins of his now very successful company.
All of that is coming up, so stay with us for Louisiana and Beyond.
Louisiana and Beyond is brought to you in part by Edison Schwest Offshore, Bollinger Shipyards, Crosby Tugs LLC, Grand Isle Shipyard, Nichols State University, and Sea Level Construction.
Edison Schwest Offshore is more than a fleet. We're an interconnected network of vessels, logistics hubs, and a fast-growing workforce of over 19,000 dedicated professionals across the globe. From the United States to Brazil and the Middle East to Southeast Asia, Schwest provides cutting-edge solutions to a worldwide community. And in the face of evolving demands across the industry, we are committed to operating as the best in the world.
When it comes to marine towing, Crosby Tugs has over 40 years of experience. We have the know-how to safely assist ships into and out of their berths, escort oil tankers quickly and safely, tow ships, respond to fuel spills, and work in extreme conditions. Founded in 1977 by Vinton and Kurt Crosby, we are one of the largest privately owned marine transportation businesses in the industry. If it's on the water, let Crosby be your transporter.
At GIS, putting people first has always been our thing. As we always say, our people are our most important assets. With over 20 office locations, we deliver innovative solutions across 4 key markets: energy, industrial, infrastructure, and power. Our 4 main service groups house over 20 service capabilities, supporting projects from start to finish. We're proud of our legacy and even more excited about what's ahead.
Welcome to Bollinger Shipyards. For nearly a century, our family of skilled shipbuilders has driven innovation and excellence, creating some of the world's most advanced vessels. Today, we are at the forefront of our industry and redefining the future of naval warfare. At Bollinger, we turn challenges into opportunities and careers into legacies. Here, you're part of something bigger. Any yard can build a ship. We don't just build ships. Together, we're building the future.
In a world where you can choose to be anything, who do you choose to be? At Nichols State University, with over 70 distinct degree programs, we believe our students can be anything. Be an artist, a chef, a journalist, an educator, a lifesaver. But no matter what you choose to be a colonel. Be more at Nichols State University.
Welcome back to this week's episode of Louisiana and Beyond. In this program, we provide highlights from this year's Coastal Day at the Legislature in Baton Rouge.
And as the opening press conference was held in the State Capitol's 4th floor press room, the opening comments came from that floor's main inhabitant, Governor Jeff Landry.
congratulate and thank the entire CPRA team, from our chairman, Gordon Dove, through Tony Alfred and everyone over there, Michael Hare, everyone who has been working with us. I think that right now we have more projects that are under design, under construction, in the pipeline, and a lot of that is due to the incredible partnership that we have with the Army Corps of Engineers today. I want to say that it is a breath of fresh air that to me, certainly since President Trump's election and him putting in place a great cabinet, it seems like the Corps has become more of a partner than an impediment. We have, and I'll say this too, I mean, to have the Secretary of the Army come and spend an entire day here in Louisiana, flying over critical infrastructure that the Corps operates, and get a better understanding of the needs that the state has from an infrastructure standpoint, and giving us an opportunity to talk to him about the important projects that we have. And I think here's the other thing too. I think that we talk about coastal restoration, and then we talk about hurricane protection. And I think it's important to recognize that those two things are not inseparable. They are absolutely one and the same. So all of the work that we do to protect our coast basically helps to protect great communities like Jason Badgeron's communities down in Terrebonne, the great communities in Lafourche, all along, all of them, Iberia as well. I got to say that one, because if not, I'm going to go back to the mansion. The First Lady's going to be like, well, what about Iberia? But I think that we've got so many great things happening on our coast, and I can tell you those great things would not be happening without a whole lot of people doing a whole lot of work and also learning to work together. And one of the things I'll tell you, and so it gives me an opportunity to tell Gordy again, is the only way that I would appoint him and Tony is if they promise to spend some of their money west of Terrebonne as well. There is a coast, just so y'all know, that goes past Terrebonne and Lafourche. But it truly is. It's important. The coast is important from Mississippi all the way to Texas. And so, again, I just wanted to come and say thank you, Colonel, again. It is also refreshing to have a colonel from the Corps of Engineers that we can pronounce their last name, right?
These days, we've got so many projects that we're putting on the ground. And again, just like the governor said, from east to west, right? Texas to Mississippi. And we're putting them on the ground fast. As the Corps has even said, we're going to be pushing projects and not paperwork, right? So we're real excited about that. It's gone so far that even the colonel's showing up at our Pedro tournaments these days. And even when Jason beats him, he's not counting projects against us, right? That's right. Yeah, so things are changing. I'm really excited. We always talked about when we were building Marganza, we knew that Marganza was just a line in the sand, and we always talked about the Barrier Islands and the marsh that's been falling apart as being, we needed all three to take place. Little did we ever know that we would be in control of all three of those taking place. So it's really exciting to see it happening. Again, all the projects that Gordy just read and more. Just really happy to be a part of it.
First, I'd like to announce our parish presidents here. Being chairman of CPRA, working with these parish presidents, they're coastal parish presidents. They own all their projects every step of the way. So we have Keith Hinckley from Plaquemine. We have Jason Bergeron from Terrebonne, Larry Richard from Iberia, President Mike Cooper from St. Tammany, and we have Robbie Miller from Tangible Hope Parish. Let's give these guys a great round of applause. And then we have levee board directors. We have levee board personnel here. You have ports. Ports. A lot of ports have gotten involved in it. And between all this, and parish council members, and it's all a group that makes it come together and able to put together this $1.5 billion annual plan, which is building and designing, engineering, permitting to build not just to study anymore. And we've come a long way. I want to announce, Colonel Otan and Mr. Duran, he's here somewhere. These guys, I'm gonna read off a list of the projects, but it's like 80 more projects than what I'm gonna read off that these guys give us permits. They work with us every day, and they really, really do a good job. You may hear about a few negative things, but it's hundreds of positive permits and all that we get through them, mitigation rights. So round of applause for Colonel Otan and Mr. Duran and the Corps. Remember, they have to file a policy and procedure from Washington, so that's where we need to work on changing it to speed it up, but we are expediting permits.
A little later in the program, Gordon Dove will briefly outline the list of all the major coastal projects in the state.
And we'll also hear from Michael Hare and Jerome Zarang, but right after the break, Mark Pregeant from Grand Isle Shipyard talks about his successful company, so stay with us right here on Louisiana and Beyond.
Sea Level Construction is a heavy civil contractor that provides turnkey services for the industrial and marine industries. From building large-scale infrastructure to installing the foundation for expansion projects, Sea Level and its family of companies offer a wide range of capabilities including driven piles, drilled deep foundations, structural fabrication, structural concrete, marine construction, barge maintenance and repair, site work development, heavy equipment repair services, and electrical services. Call Sea Level Construction to set the foundations for your next big project.
At GIS, putting people first has always been our thing. As we always say, our people are our most important assets. With over 20 office locations, we deliver innovative solutions across 4 key markets: energy, industrial, infrastructure, and power. Our 4 main service groups house over 20 service capabilities, supporting projects from start to finish. We're proud of our legacy and even more excited about what's ahead.
Welcome to Bollinger Shipyards. For nearly a century, our family of skilled shipbuilders has driven innovation and excellence, creating some of the world's most advanced vessels. Today, we are at the forefront of our industry and redefining the future of naval warfare. At Bollinger, we turn challenges into opportunities and careers into legacies. Here, you're part of something bigger. Any yard can build a ship. We don't just build ships. Together, we're building the future.
When it comes to marine towing, Crosby Tugs has over 40 years of experience. We have the know-how to safely assist ships into and out of their berths, escort oil tankers quickly and safely, tow ships, respond to fuel spills, and work in extreme conditions. Founded in 1977 by Vinton and Kurt Crosby, we are one of the largest privately owned marine transportation businesses in the industry. If it's on the water, let Crosby be your transporter.
Edison Schwest Offshore is more than a fleet. We're an interconnected network of vessels, logistics hubs, and a fast-growing workforce of over 19,000 dedicated professionals across the globe. From the United States to Brazil and the Middle East to Southeast Asia, Schwest provides cutting-edge solutions to a worldwide community. And in the face of evolving demands across the industry, we are committed to operating as the best in the world.
When you talk about companies that truly embody Louisiana's spirit of hard work, resilience, and innovation, it is hard not to mention Grand Isle Shipyard, better known as GIS.
Began in 1948 as a small family-run operation supporting local fishermen in Grand Isle, it's now grown into one of South Louisiana's most respected and diversified companies.
So, our company, GIS, was started in 1948 by my great-grandfather and great-grandmother, Claude and Weta Pregeant. So we started in Grand Isle, Louisiana, obviously, and, we were supporting the local commercial fishing industry. But after a few years, we had to diversify just like the economy of Louisiana. Oil and gas was starting to come to fruition in the industrial sector and the infrastructure sector. So our business kind of morphed over the years through that. And you know, a little story my great grandfather always told us. He's like, I wasn't the visionary behind this business. It was your great grandmother. He said, because she came to me one day and said, look, our freezers are full. I can't put any more seafood in there. You need to stop getting paid in fish and shrimp, and we need to start making some money. So that's when we pivoted, just like the economy, and started working in oil and gas and diversifying from there. You know, over the years, as we've gone through the different generations of leadership, you know, each of us brought kind of some unique differences in there. But, you know, I think when you talk about our core values and, you know, staying with our commitment of putting people first and making sure our people feel valued, that's the one thing that's kind of been a cornerstone of our business and been sustained throughout all of the legacies of generations. But, you know, with each kind of step change we've had, we understood that our business needed to be more resilient, just like my grandfather did, pivoting a little bit, diversifying from just strictly fishing into oil and gas, and you know, it still reigns true today. I mean, oil and gas has been great for us, but I mean, the world as a whole, you know, we've got some worldwide challenges of needing more energy and more power, whether it be renewable energy, traditional power, oil and gas. So we've had to pivot our business to be more resilient, you know, to be more dynamic, and not to be stuck in just one arena. You know, my great-grandfather started our business in 1948, but a couple of years before that, he was actually partners with Mr. Donald on the Bollinger side of things. So they started a machine shop in Valentine, was how they both got started really in business. My grandfather had peeled off and went to support Grand Isle, the local fishing industry there, continuing to be a shipyard. You know, and then kind of set roots down there with himself, my great-grandmother, and our family. And then it kind of never turned back and started working in the oil and gas sector and diversifying, while Bollinger still stayed in the shipyard part. So, you know, here we are, you know, nearly 80 years later, and kind of back together with some common ownerships and partnerships. So definitely interesting fun fact about the family of companies. And that mutual respect and working relationship has just made it so much easier as we've come together. You know, and when you talk about our strengths and our infrastructure and our people, and, you know, like you said, the brilliant minds of all of these, you know, nearly 20,000 people that's come together to make this whole conglomerate not only something that Louisiana can be proud of, but I mean a true global player. And it's been amazing to get to have a seat at the table to be a part of this whole journey.
GIS has evolved alongside our state, expanding into oil and gas infrastructure and energy projects, while keeping the same foundation laid by its founders: integrity, community, and taking care of their people.
And Mark Pregeant shares about how this company has stayed true to its local roots and its mission while shaping the future of coastal industry and energy.
I guess the regional and both national and international footprint makes it a little tougher to get to be in front of the people every day, as we started out in these, you know, small, close-knit communities where, you know, we knew the couple hundred people that were working there. We knew their families and all of that stuff. So it makes it a little more difficult as you start having this global reach, right? But I think the foundational principles and values have stayed consistent, and that's been a recipe for success for it. I mean, you know, us taking care of our people, performing, you know, operating with integrity, you know, being innovative, making sure that we're safe. And again, at the core of it is making sure that our people are feeling valued. You know, whether it's in Louisiana, whether it's in Ohio or Texas or Brazil or Guyana, I mean, truly, if you value your people, they're gonna move mountains for you. And that's something that my great-grandfather instilled in us. I truly believe, you know, from GIS as a whole, that's the one thing that we shine in and sets us apart from so many others, is that we truly care. We truly listen to our people. You know, we not only listen, but we put those ideas into action, and they get to be a part of that vision and get to help us shape our future. So the trust built is basically on delivery. I mean, you do what you say you're gonna do at the end of the day. I mean, Louisiana has a culture, if you give somebody your word, you should deliver. And I mean, for us, I mean, just the world is in a very litigious environment, hiding behind paperwork. You know, I think one of our advantages, you know, in our relationship with Gordy and the rest of the CPRA team has been that we can still operate on a handshake, and they can feel confident that we're going to deliver. And you go back to it, we've got some of the best minds in the business when it comes to infrastructure, engineering. We've been a part of or designed, most of the levee system and the flood protection systems, specifically around this tri-parish area. And we take a lot of pride in it. Not only that we deliver great work, but it affects our local communities. Something happens, something fails, it's our families that are at stake. This is not some international company just trying to run in here and make a profit. We live here, we set roots here, and we need to make sure it's done right.
We thank Mark and his winning team at Grand Isle Shipyards for their support of our program and our state's valuable coast.
And after the break, as promised, State CPRA Chairman Gordon Dove will review the list of the state's major coastal projects. We'll be right back to Louisiana and beyond.
Edison Schwest Offshore is more than a fleet. We're an interconnected network of vessels, logistics hubs, and a fast-growing workforce of over 19,000 dedicated professionals across the globe. From the United States to Brazil and the Middle East to Southeast Asia, Schwest provides cutting-edge solutions to a worldwide community. And in the face of evolving demands across the industry, we are committed to operating as the best in the world.
At GIS, putting people first has always been our thing. As we always say, our people are our most important assets. With over 20 office locations, we deliver innovative solutions across 4 key markets: energy, industrial, infrastructure, and power. Our 4 main service groups house over 20 service capabilities, supporting projects from start to finish. We're proud of our legacy and even more excited about what's ahead.
Welcome to Bollinger Shipyards. For nearly a century, our family of skilled shipbuilders has driven innovation and excellence, creating some of the world's most advanced vessels. Today, we are at the forefront of our industry and redefining the future of naval warfare. At Bollinger, we turn challenges into opportunities and careers into legacies. Here, you're part of something bigger. Any yard can build a ship. We don't just build ships. Together, we're building the future.
When it comes to marine towing, Crosby Tugs has over 40 years of experience. We have the know-how to safely assist ships into and out of their berths, escort oil tankers quickly and safely, tow ships, respond to fuel spills, and work in extreme conditions. Founded in 1977 by Vinton and Kurt Crosby, we are one of the largest privately owned marine transportation businesses in the industry. If it's on the water, let Crosby be your transporter.
Sea-Level Construction is a heavy civil contractor that provides turnkey services for the industrial and marine industries. From building large-scale infrastructure to installing the foundation for expansion projects, Sea-Level and its family of companies offer a wide range of capabilities including driven piles, drilled deep foundations, structural fabrication, structural concrete, marine construction, barge maintenance and repair, site work development, heavy equipment repair services, and electrical services. Call Sea-Level Construction to set the foundations for your next big project.
And we thank you for joining us this week on Louisiana and Beyond.
And in a moment, Gordon Dove will review the state's current list of top coastal projects, but we first open with words of clarification from CPRA Executive Director Michael Hare.
I think it's really important to remember what CPRA is and what we're not. We're a state agency and we're small, about 160 people, highly dedicated to developing that master plan and then putting it into action every year through our annual plan. Numbers get thrown out about our plan right now, $101.5 billion, 143 projects that when completed will affect about 12,000 acres of marsh, support nearly 11,000 jobs. We can't do that alone as a staff. And I really think why this is so important to have a coastal day is to remind people it starts at the local government with our parish partners, with levee districts, work with our state agencies, and we'll hear from Secretary Bourgeois here soon, but DOTD, Wildlife and Fisheries, DNR, DEQ, all of us working together with our federal partners, the Corps, NOAA, EPA, Wildlife and Fisheries at that level, and then you, the community itself, from our contractors, engineers, construction crews out there, to the universities, to the NGO partners, to our philanthropic activities from some of the mainstay industries in this state. We can't do it alone, and we will never be able to accomplish it without all of y'all here. So appreciate your advocacy. If you weren't in this room, just ask yourself who would be.
Governor Jeff Landry has been on top of all these projects. Every weekend we go over the projects, and he's on top of them. And one of his main priorities is to get it done from east to west. And he's given CPRA the latitude and my board the latitude to move forward. So I'm just going to read a few. Marsh Island Restoration, Iberia Parish, White Lake Restoration and Rehabilitation, Vermilion, Fouchon Segmented Breakwater Rocks, West Bell Pass, East Timberlake Island, Wine Island, Barataria Land Bridge, 23.5 miles, Barataria Long Distance Pipeline Settlement, Myrtle Grove, Vermilion, New Iberia, Levee, Floodgates, New Iberia, Corps of Engineers, 2,500 to 15,000, CFS, Myrtle Grove diversion that we're working on, Rockefeller Extension, Grand Isle Segmented Breakwater Rocks, the state put up $20 million, the Corps $45 million, and we will be placing rocks in June. Correct, Colonel? You heard him. Sorry to put you on the spot. Both of us by David Cormedale. The north side of Grand Isle, Empire Lock Systems, Biodesignments, Floodgate. That's a $110 million gate being funded 100% by GOMESA funding. As you know, Lafourche and St. Charles took a hard hit up the Biodesignments. This is a build a 273-foot floodgate. And we should start construction this year, and it is funded by GOMESA. Morganza Levee System, the Chandeleur Island is under construction for $355 million. Spanish Pass Phase 2 in President Hinckley's area. Land Bridge at Breton Sound, St. Bernard Parish, and Terrebonne Parish. Land Bridge in Jason Bergeron's area. Lake Leary marsh creation. Lake Leary rim restoration, East Delacroix, North Delacroix, Reggio Marsh, Wyckoski Marsh, South Delacroix, Wood Lake, and Bayou La Loutre. So we're doing both sides of the river, and that's just to name a few, you know, and everyone in here has a part of some of these projects. And, you know, that's what we're about, is building, protecting our coast with segmented breakwater rocks and barrier islands. And with that, I thank each and every one of you in here for supporting us.
Again, I thank you all for coming here. I still remember the first Coastal Day we had many years ago. I have been involved in this process for a long time. It's really gratifying to see how much has been accomplished in that time. And that I think back in terms of how our legislators think the process, I often remind them, you know, 2/3 of the population, 2/3 of the economy of Louisiana is within what is considered the coastal area, how important it is to the state, but also to the nation. And I think that's important. If you look at projects, you know, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, you know, Morganza to the Gulf and how important that is to our region and the Levee District and the support that we've had from Gordy and Tony and everyone involved. And when I first got started going to the Corps, I would hear from, and I'm so glad we got Terp 1A here and at the Corps right now. But when I would go there early on, I would hear, see, listen, the Corps is never going to build a levee outside of New Orleans. And that was the sentiment at that time. And I can understand it was expensive and there were issues, but it just demonstrates how important it is to work together, to get the support of the locals, get support of the state, and how we, the locals, use, like Lafourche, local money, tax dollars, to demonstrate to the state that we can do this, and got their support, got the support of the Corps, and ultimately we had probably one of the most, in terms of flood-protected infrastructure project, one of the largest in the state, and one of the most important, that's going to protect the communities, but also demonstrate that we can do, as the governor said, they are not mutually exclusive. You can't have flood protection, you can't have coastal restoration, and how Morganza demonstrates that, and how both its it should be self-mitigated. But the reality is we do have things that we can do to protect these coastal communities, protect the people, and work to protect the environment.
And next week, we will have more from Coastal Day at the legislature, including words from state government and civic leaders and our state legislators.
And we hope to see you then. Thanks so much for joining us right here on Louisiana and Beyond.
Louisiana and Beyond has been brought to you in part by Edison Schwest Offshore, Bollinger Shipyards, Crosby Tugs LLC, Grand Isle Shipyard, Nicholls State University, and Sea Level Construction.